Maybe I can give a quick introduction about the rationale behind organizing this special holiday talk for 2 consecutive years. Tonight we are so extremely delighted to have Dr. Paulina Chen. She has a very shining profile. She's the principal and CEO of Global Mutual Innovation Consortium in multiple countries. And the reason that I get to know Paulina is because I'm one of the alumni in Imperial College London, and she's the champion of the Imperial College London mentoring program. And Paulina and I, we both received our PhD degree from Imperial College London, and she's now having a very prestigious position of Imperial College London. She's the university ambassador, for Imperial College London for many years. In particular, tonight she's bringing her team from WIE. Do you know what's WIE? It stands for Women in Engineering, from the IEEE Hong Kong section. She's also serving as the chairman of the board at the Chartered Management Institute of Hong Kong. Tonight she's going to share with us about her vision on social engagement in science and arts, which will align with our mission: serve the world, passion, entrepreneurship, clothing, innovation, aspiration, and life and career. To begin with, I would like to pass the time and stage to Dr. Chen, please. Let's give us a warm welcome.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. I think it is my greatest pleasure, to have the opportunity to meet all of you. And you are all very talented, very self-confident, and very available and eager to express yourself. I think just itself is already a very special trait that we all need to be as the leader of the 21st century. I think tonight, I would like to make my discussion with you an interactive discussion. And I'd like to hear from you as much as you like to hear from me. And only that I can learn from you, and you could also, know a little bit more about me, and also see how my journey would be compatible with you. So I'm thinking we need to have a certain subject of interest, isn't it? So I have chosen the responsibility, the social responsibility in arts and science as a subject. Knowing that you are all multidisciplinary, and I know that you came from many parts of Hong Kong and even the world, and you have many opportunities to visit the world. So let's bring our heads together and try to solicit and dig into what we have experienced so far and what we would anticipate to experience, by tomorrow. And your vision is very, very important, well beyond what you are studying, in such a beautiful, City University. Now, I can, discuss with you from various roles, I am taking. But tonight, I have chosen to use the role of women in science and engineering. Because, number one, that is very unusual for women in science and engineering to be available and also to be eager, to share experience. And among the audience, I have, 2 members on my team, from City University, Eunice and Teresa. And of course, most respectable, Dr. Ray Germ himself is in science and technology. So I have chosen this role. I have another role, which is in management. I am the chairman of the Chartered Management Institute of the UK. Now, you all have heard about chartered engineer, chartered accountant, chartered surveyor, and so forth. And there is another charter. There are 7 charters in the world, and chartered management is one of the most prominent ones in the UK. Not so much in Hong Kong. Because Hong Kong is very focused on vertical professionals. I am an engineer, I'm an accountant, I'm a surveyor, I'm a company secretary. But management is a horizontal, platform, because all management, covers all 26 sectors of the Wall Street Journal. You all know, therefore those in business management, I have spoken to some of you, and some of you studying business administration, management, political science. You all know that the whole wide world is divided, into 26 segments, based on Wall Street Journal, and each segment need professional managers to make things happen. And on top of that, with the 21st century, I believe that all managers of every level need to be a user of technology. And that's why I think, for you getting ready to conquer the world, getting ready to develop a glorious career ahead of you, you cannot really distinguish what is management, what is art, and what is science. Because science and art are actually one thing. Remember, all your professors are PhD. They are Doctor of Philosophy. There isn't anything called Doctor of Science. Yes, the honorary degree, DSc, okay? And there is not anything called Doctor of Arts. So philosophy, Doctor of Philosophy, actually philosophy is from Plato, the Republic. And you know about the Republic? That means the ideal world. The ideal world is an integration of science and arts. And now combining with innovative technology. And that's why I think it is worth, talking about that. Okay. And I also encourage each one of you to participate, while I am discussing, any subjects, liberal life, because, I am definitely not giving lecture. And this is what a relaxing evening, and you have enough lecture. So I want a good discussion. So here I have some examples. As I say, I have chosen to use the role of women in science and technology to emphasize the point of how to integrate science into everyday life. So these are some of the examples. That the refrigerator, that we use in everyday life is science, invented by women. And we know that the mobile communication networking is invented by women. Lamar, she was a beautiful actress, now Hungarian actress who invented coding and communications, mobile communications. And I also remember that Coca-Cola also invented by women scientists. And Coca-Cola, of course, there are good and bad things, around these products. but it actually integrated into everyday life.
University.
Yes, that's right. So my point is, don't put a line, say I am science and I am arts. That's out of date. 過氣 would not work. Okay, and all this together, we need to understand management. And management needs to have innovative entrepreneurship approach and keep on inventing ourselves. So this is how that works. So, just to, so all these need to wrap up what is the relations of science and arts and management. Now, on my way here, I met Paulina. She is such a beautiful young woman, and she told me that she's studying Chinese literature. Then I'm so happy because, the science subject in Chinese literature, especially classical science, classical Chinese literature, the science implanted in the city, 歌赋, in the poem, in the 四書五經, in the 宋詞 and 唐詩. See? Because in olden days China, there isn't anything called science. Science is in the painting, science is in the poem. So Chinese, that's all of us except one, maybe a few, but we count you. We are one big family. So Asian, are very much into civilization, and civilization is science and arts. Now, then I'd like to introduce a little bit about IEEE, Women in Engineering, because I want you to be aware of such an institution, such an organization. It's headquarters in the United States, and it's over 400,000 members in 160 countries. And also, it is the most enrolled and the biggest women organization of science and technology in the world. And it is not only for women, and I'm going to show you this. In my steering committee in Hong Kong, just in Hong Kong, you can see there are a combination of men and women, to really working together, in this, because many of us, I am particularly, consider that men cannot work without the participation of women and vice versa. So women would not work well without, the support and the collaboration with men. So I think why is this organization called Women in Science and Education? Is to emphasize, the focus and to emphasize the motivation, to encourage more women to be exposed to science and technology. And that is the reason. Because men is all taken for granted, but we want to focus on women. And this has been, Women in Science and Technology from the IEEE, which is the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, has been on for over 50 years. And Hong Kong has the branch. And tonight, I would encourage you all to consider to sign up to be a member of the student branch of the work of this affiliation.
It's about $20 per year.
That's all. One meal, right? Now, then you can see, my steering committee is very well divided, 50-50. So I practice what I preach. And I'm the last one to say women is better than men and vice versa. And we are all very talented people of various, for example, myself is information technology, international business, That means, I am not the one to drill a hole to the center of the earth. I'm a global person, horizontally, participating across, many business sectors in over 30 countries. For example, one big project, including, of course, you all know the Belt and Road, you all know the renewable energy, the smart village, the smart building, as an example, artificial intelligence, the robots, and big data, and so forth. And then the vice chair is in higher education. David is in vocational training center, so he actually are very supportive of we. And then the treasurer is Agnes. Agnes is an entrepreneur, and she just started her own company at the Science Park in an incubator project. And of course, I don't need to say more about our Dr. Ray Chan. You know that how motivated he is and how much he encouraged all of us, to be in this project. So if you want to get involved with us, you can go to our Facebook. You can get like our web page and also participate, in and of course I put Teresa, Eunice, myself, and Ray are very much welcome all of you to be, among ourselves in the team. And then we are doing exciting things. Just recently, 2 months, end of last year, we went to a conference. We sponsored a particular panel on innovative technology and artificial intelligence in Shanghai, which is it is an annual event of the IEEE, and you can recognize our face, and it is in Shanghai. And it is a combination of Chartered Management Institute and the Women in Engineering. And also, you have seen in Bali, we also have an annual conference of Region 10. Region 10 is Asia Pacific, region of Asia Pacific. And I'm very grateful that we, the people have won the Champion Poster Award among over 100 entries. And what did we win? We were doing outreach in high school or middle school in Hong Kong to introduce workshop on robotics and artificial intelligence. Example, like schools we went to, including the Diocese Girls' School, DGS, True Light College, Pope Paul VI, and St. Paul's Co-ed. I think these are the familiar schools. Yes, right.
I would like to raise one point. I learned that in the previous Shanghai event, we have a student from the WIE going to Shanghai, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Maybe you can share more with our students so they may be more excited to know about it.
Oh, right. We sponsor our student members. That means everything paid for within our expenses to participate in Shanghai. Now, Teresa and Eunice, could you tell us a few of your good experience there?
Hi everyone, I'm Eunice. So so I'll share with you briefly. So week 3, we went to the Shanghai and to participate the DSP conference 2018, which is digital signal processing. And if you're in science or engineering major, you know it. And this is a very fruitful experience because we met a lot of academic giants there, like from all around the world. And this is a really good experience because we also organized a lunch for them and a panel discussion. And from the panel discussion, we learned a lot from them about the world and how the technology applied to the, the current applications in the world. And this is a very knowledgeable talk and event. So I'll pass to Teresa to share.
This is a final year mechanical engineering.
Mechatronic engineering.
And Teresa is a second year
Computer science.
Computer science student.
So I've learned that because I majored in CS, like I've touched like AI, so you can learn that like artificial intelligence is a very hot topic recently. But you can see that without any DSP technology, you can't have any AI to support our life because without technology, nothing can be transmitted. So I've learned that through many giants that the importance of DSP and how it's like transformed from a tech to a very supportive technology to have in the world. So it's a really good experience. Besides, it's really rare for us students to attend such conference as a project manager because like students are only focusing on academics and the career aspect. But we can collaborate with Paulina, such a really good mentor for us, and Dr. Ray. So I think if you guys would like to participate with us, it's really a good chance to join the later link.
And both of them have joined WA for less than 1 year.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. It is my intention. Thank you. It is my intention, to give everybody, the best exposure we have. And digital signal processing sounds so technical. Of course, the technology is technical, but the application is essential. Because when you send something, like using our cell phone, you are sending signal from one place to another. And the technology behind that is digital signal processing. So could you raise your hand? How many of us here are in CSWE, computer science, electrical engineering? Oh, really? Okay.
But there are many non-BECS students here as well. Yeah. Want to know more how they can contribute.
Yes, because see, the world is so generous nowadays that it is not a focus, on a particular, technique. So this is the point I want to get through. And then another point I want to get through is you need to participate as soon as possible, with professional organization and professional bodies beyond, the beautiful, academic, training. Because only when you go outside, you see the world, you also have the opportunity to meet, as what Eunice and Teresa said, the international giants in the field, from MIT, from Imperial, from Caltech, you name it, and from Hong Kong, you from Chinese, you from CityU, so the world is the limit. So consider that. Any question about this potential opportunities?
So,
Yes.
why digital signal processing? I mean, IEEE has like many subfields.
Yes.
So why are you highlighting like digital signal processing? Like for example, why not like blockchain, for
Power,
example,
yes.
like blockchain, renewable energy, power ledgers, and so on. So I'm curious, why are you highlighting digital signal processing?
Okay, I've got the answer. That is also the reason I have chosen, digital signal processing as my participation to be, cross-discipline. Now remember, for those who understand electrical engineering and electronic engineering, there are many, many fields, communications, power, circuit and system, whatnot. But all the things are stated from, a basic principle that is sending signal from A to B. Without that technique, and actually digital signal processing is mathematics. For those who else have been suffering from FFT, formula, So only when you have this particular technology, you are able to expand. But I'm not asking everybody needs to know, the technique of DSP. But the DSP is the platform for the application development. That is the reason. Okay. I encourage, interaction, question, opinion, and so forth. That we only that, we can share our thoughts. Now, other than that, reaching the outreach program is also considered important for us. During the outreach program, we are not talking about technology. We are introducing for this time, young women, in high school, actually age 12 to 14. They are actually in the process of deciding, the future career, and also to decide what subjects they may like to major in. But in many high schools, they may be very classical, and not able to introduce the new thing. So to make, a science subject not to be boring, we did workshops, and it happens to be robotics. And I know CityU, have a lot of group work, activities and events, on artificial intelligence, on codings, on robotics, and the high school students, getting more and more, interested in that, but not everybody. So we go to, a spectrum of school, not only the class A or tier 1, schools that some of us, think of in Hong Kong, but across. Because I believe that exposure, to new things, has nothing to do with what schools one belong to and go to. And also in the United States, there's a leadership program. I represented, and I was invited to give a keynote speech at the International Leadership Forum in the Silicon Valley. Across, all the multinational corporations. You can see those big names behind me. Is to able to share with them, the importance of just what I said about the social responsibility, also the integration of science and arts, And with me, you can see first, all the behind me, the board of all the multinational corporations, in the Silicon Valley. They all have the very high level, representatives to participate. And on my right, I have chosen one application. You can see that is a skeleton. That means, science and engineering, science and technology have a lot of high potential application in healthcare industry. And in the medical field, as you can see, from sensor, from robotic, from limb, from even cyberknife, in theater, pre-diagnosis of cancer research, and also for public health. All those requires the technology applications implemented and invented in engineering across. That include electrical engineering for the sense and communications, mechanical engineering, for the movement of whatever. It also includes material engineering, what material to use in order to get it done. And on top of that, arts too. For example, at Imperial College, the electrical engineering department is integrating and combination with the Royal College of Arts. Royal College of Arts, you may be, oh, what is that? Remember the Captain Gay, the vacuum cleaner from Dyson, that is invented from the Royal College of Arts. And then the vacuum cleaner is a combination of mechanical, material, and electrical engineering. And how are you going to make it friendly? It's not clumsy, and it's not yet gao, and it's user-friendly. That requires the integration of art and science and application directly to the society. So I just give you an example. It is not, I am not dreaming, I'm not talking theory, I'm talking about many, many applications. And also in the medical school, actually in CityU, congratulations. You have a very good collaborations. You have the, I think you have the one laboratories on the 3D design, which is very famous. That is a collaboration of that with Imperial College on osmic science. Osmic science, you know, one application is the Japanese March the 11th incident. Using big data, you know, we're tracking the progress and also the development of over 300,000 victims at the Japanese disaster. So and since then, you know, every sector in collaboration, using the 3D technology developed by City University. So I think it's very encouraging. You know, no matter what you're doing, you know, it's very encouraging. And City University actually has been participating into this already. So then there are a few things, you know, a topical, you know, subject. I just, you know, bring it up, you know, to encourage discussion. Okay. These subjects are not just technical. These subjects are social, political, and economical. Like big data. You know, wow, everybody's talking about big data. Do we actually know what it is? You know, there's a good definition from the World Economic Forum. You know, just a few months ago, 2019 in Davos. You know, big data is considered a lots and lots of information. You know, we develop a track record, a pattern, an indication, so that leading to decision making. That's basically, you know, big data. It is so big that it's beyond human grasp of gathering. And then there is artificial intelligence, which help human to analyze those data and help human to make decisions. So this is a correlation between the two terms that you heard of it every single day, you know, big data and artificial intelligence. What is it? Basically, in simple English, this is what it is. And of course, behind it is tons of technology that are behind. And some of us, some of you would like to study those technology, how it works, why is it this way, how is it done? You know, that is one field. And some of you want to say, okay, how am I going to apply that in my field? You know, that is another group of you. And that is another group saying that, okay, I am in art, I am composing poem, I'm composing music, I am doing geology. How am I going to use this technique into my field of development? So these are all the applications. Or even I'm in language. How am I going to develop some kind of algorithm? How am I going to learn quickly, you know, to be able to understand, you know, multiple languages, you know, with the help of technology? So these are good examples. Then how big is the market? You know, people, you know, I seldom hear people quantify, but I tell you, it's a 30 billion market, you know, 2 years ago. And you know how fast things change. And with the annual average growth of 40% per year. Now, then you ask me, who invested in that? What do you think? Who can tell me? Who actually invested in big data? You know. Who invested in big data? In finance industry, in technology industry.
And renewable energy industry.
Yes.
Such as some Japanese power companies. Actually, like big data is one of the only ways to create an open energy system. So.
Yes, that's right. And then I want to ask, what do you think big data, being applied to what field? What do you think? What do you think? Where would people use big data for? Where would they?
Yes, we have a raising hand.
Okay. Women in science and engineering, when we have something to say, we stand up and say it loudly.
I think it can be used in market research because you have a lot of data about human behavior and interaction. So a lot of companies can use it to have a better idea about their target audience.
Yes, absolutely. See, in marketing, so far we heard engineering, we heard financial industry, we heard in marketing. What do you think?
Medical terms to detect the symptoms of the disease and to predict the future diseases.
Yes. In public health, disaster recovery, big, epidemic, of certain type, what else? Yes.
Like in bioengineering, in genetics research, all of these things, they need massive sets of data in order to process the outcomes and results and all that.
Genomic science, life science, bioscience, medical science. What else?
Yes, they're here from Egypt.
Ooh, okay. Egyptians are very innovative for civilization.
Just an elaboration to marketing to analyze social behavior. Like big data is very useful because social behavior depending on infinitely top parameters. Some social behavior analysis can have 1,000 variables.
Yes.
That's of course a big data.
Yes, yes. Yeah, something that human being would not be fast enough to collect and read the amount of varieties. That would be my good example would be when you want to draw a straight line. Of course, you can draw it freehand. But if you use a piece of ruler, that straight line would be straighter. So big data is that piece of ruler. That's all. So big data does not represent us who draw a line. Remember that. So the means and the ends are very important. So now we know that how big is it, who invented it, why are they using it for, and in what applications. Then my next question, because earlier on I already correlate, big data and artificial intelligence with you. Big data is a collecting machine, to be a platform. Then we need to have a good analysis. So artificial intelligence is one means to help human to analyze those big data. And artificial intelligence doesn't mean only robotics. Robotics is just one branch of application. And robotics doesn't mean to be something look like a human. Robotics could be a sensor. Robotic could be a piece of equipment. So don't confuse. Robot doesn't need to be with a head or a hand, and so forth. Now, then I want to know, what is artificial intelligence and human wisdom? Anyone want to elaborate? I want the art students, how would you see, the difference between artificial intelligence, that means things are, learn, with the machine. We teach the machine to learn something, so it's artificial intelligence. And how would that compare to us, wisdom, human wisdom? This is an opinion, it's a comment. Who would like to express your idea? Nah, be creative. Yes.
Our students to develop deeper in our theory or our findings. For example, in the field of anthropology and archaeologies, there is a category called underwater archaeologies. Maybe there is a shipwrecks under the sea of the Mediterranean, for example. But the water pressure is very high, and maybe current clothes for diving cannot afford that pressure. But if there is some robots or artificial intelligence could help us to sense the pressure or even help us complete the missions of the archaeological investigations, maybe the robots or artificial intelligence could help us to find some ancient artifacts and of the civilizations of Mediterranean seas. So I think it also contributes to the retrieval or the developing of the predictorate or the historical, or add something to the current historical texts. Yeah, just like that.
Good. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's a very good aid. Yes, please.
I think the difference for the question may be about creativity, about innovation. Sometimes the machine can do what we taught them to do, but they taught them to do something we didn't expect them to do.
Yes. Yeah. I think human intervention is most important. Machine can
just give something I knew about something like more professional, because I'm also a student of doctorate, E student, and actually what I learned before is about machine intelligence and human system is about, do you guys know a test? It's called Turing's test.
Turing test? Well, explain quickly to the rest of us.
I'm not sure if I can explain it well, because before some people established a kind of experiment to not to let you know whether you are talking to a machine or a person. At the time, they chose like children of around 5 years old and artificial intelligence. They let the people to talk with them, but the people does not know which one is the robot and which one is the children. And at that time, actually, some people cannot distinguish, and some people say that it is kind of evolution, because people cannot distinguish what is artificial intelligence and what is
not.
Yes, but what is not. But actually, some people also argue about it, because did you guys use, like when you go to the website, when you are going to log in, you can see those numbers. How to say that? When you log. Yes, the captcha to distinguish whether you are a human or robot. Because they change the number to like some special shape, or they add something onto the number. And if you are a person, you can like very easily understand what this letter or this number is, but a robot cannot. So this one still works until now. So like many people cannot. Many people think that the artificial intelligence and the human wisdom are totally different things.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Chen. And I also agree with Fiona that actually humans have more possibilities as they can have innovation. For example, because I'm a Chinese student that study literature, I feel that actually compare human and the robot, human have feelings. That's why we can see along these years, and then we can see a lot of great literature works. Just because they have feelings and they can imaginations, feelings. So that I think, yeah, this is the human wisdom. So I feel that this topic is very interesting, because even our students, we also need scientific mind and also critical thinking. So thank you, Dr. Chen.
Lovely. Yeah, this is a good example. Yes, Teresa.
I think it's interpretation, because like if machine learning is like it provided data and the correlations, the numbers. Without human, you can never understand the correlation between the data. Like you have a number like 0.1, 0.98, but does it really mean anything? No, you have to have the human mind to interpret the data to let the audience to know what's going on and the story behind, which is now never being done by the machine. So I think it's different between the two.
Yes.
In fact, to me, the difference between machine intelligence and human wisdom, the difference between them just keeps narrowed down with time. As time goes, the difference between them will get narrow and narrow and narrow. And just like before, people just can't use computer to recognize the pictures, but now it can. Just now, at this moment, there's still a pretty huge difference between the machine intelligence and human wisdom, but just probably as time goes, the difference will just will get narrowed down. But now, at this moment, I think the difference between them, is showed in different areas like computer vision. As it is now, the computer cannot just recognize the picture or videos just like human. And also in some fields there's still some difference, but maybe in the future there is no longer an obvious difference between them.
Artificial intelligence to catch online predators and that kind of thing. So it was making me think of application to my discipline. But with psychology, I was thinking as well, like, you know, robots might not necessarily be able to feel as humans feel, or in constructs like morality and that kind of thing. But very recently, for a course, we took a tour to the Hong Kong Elderly Resources Centre, and we could see how things like sensors, even like robots turned into cats, could help aid things like loneliness in elderly people. And because, you know, in this rapidly changing environment, we don't have as many hours to constantly be around loved ones. So actually using artificial intelligence as a way to actually improve quality of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I ask you to put one sentence in Mandarin to share with us about how you see about AI with us?
I don't know what to do in terms of AI.
Yeah.
Anything.
你可以讲，让我知道一下。
Oh gosh, now I'm frozen. Maybe I'll just introduce myself. 大家好，我叫贝茨，我是澳大利亚人。最近我在北大学了1年左右 but I haven't actually spoken Chinese formally for about a year, so I apologize.
Perfect. Get into, you know, the picture of the quality, to improve the quality of life. Now, with all these, I want to ask you, these are all the challenges, you know, with all the topical subjects, big data, artificial intelligence, quality of life, you know, new technology. The first challenge we have is fake news, right? You know, because technology cannot tell us right what's wrong. It is human who decide the information we receive, you know, makes sense or not. And the computer at this point, unless you taught them, you know, but who is teaching them? You know, the good people teach them, the bad people teach them. So, you know, so that's how the fake news come in. Sometimes, you know, the fake news, you know, come into places that it sounds so true, you know. I'll give you an example. Last year, because we are very close to Easter time, in 2018, there is a widespread of messages in Chinese and statuses addressed from the Pope, you know, the Pope Francis. And it sounds so great, and it's so all about love and joy and love each other, united. And then, what the Pope actually said, as recorded in New York Times, is different. The Pope talked about reconciliation, the Pope quoted, chapter and verses in the Bible, and it never said anything about what the Chinese message is. So the Chinese message sounds great, but it's fake news because it does not reflect what it quoted. So, one example. Then what is the right use and the wrong use? Who owns this data? And it is, like beauty in the eye of the beholder. And what is right and what is wrong depends on who says so and how would you think so and would you like to use it for. And then should the data be available to everybody? When you are on Facebook, whatever you put on, for example, whatever I put on Facebook, I have decided, even though I have a private group, but I know that whatever I put on, I'm ready. The whole wide world would read about it, would know about it. Then this would be a filter. If it goes through my personal filter, which is human wisdom, I can put whatever information on Facebook. So is it a matter of trust? And I want to quote, the Microsoft, just in Davos, I was there, and he said, privacy is a human right, and we need a general privacy practice for the world. Now, Microsoft is, one of those, who said, they use information and use the abuse, So I want to open up, basically, I want to spend like two comments on this before we move on. Who want to express your view on trust and human rights? Who owns, this big data? Okay, Eunice.
I would actually like to share an application instead of just about data because I recently attended a conference and this is about applying the AI technology to detecting the risk of the nuclear plants. So I think this is a very big thing because this is just recently raised. And so an American professor raised this idea and the rest of the professors under the stage, they raised a lot of questions of whether the data are safe enough to use because it's about life. So it's about many people's lives. So if the government really adopted this technology onto this life-related application, will you trust them? What if they have the faults in the data or in the process? So what if the accident happened because of this wrong data? So I think this is a very controversial thing. So it says it's to help detecting the faults, but what if it is wrong? And it will be about many lives. So I think this is one very controversial issue.
Yes, lovely. Now, in the interest of time, I want to, re-invite you, if you're interested in what we're talking about, consider, participating among ourselves, in our community, in the IEEE, and, you can register, 20 US a year is a very good deal. And I would like to open up the discussion and I give it back to Ray and see what
we may, Dr. Chen, please take a seat. So I would like to borrow each of you 5 more minutes for this Q&A session.
Okay.
Why don't we give a warmest big fan to Dr. Chen. That's been such a wonderful, ongoing discussion in the past special Olympic topic. Tonight was a big success.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoy it.
Of course, the way you motivate our students to talk is amazing. So I would like to kick off this Q&A session. My first question is, Dr. Chen, you are also Imperial College ambassador, right? So can we do anything between like Imperial and CityU? You can see a bunch of high camera, motivated students. So is there anything we can do together? Yeah.
I think Imperial is always encourage collaborations across, discipline and across, level of professional interest. And one thing, I think of is through the mentoring program, because it is directly related to every single one of us. And every year we have a very talented group of Imperial undergraduate students, like you, and who return to Hong Kong to spend vacation.
Right.
Summer is coming, and they are coming. So we have every year we have 2 sessions. One is the mentoring opening session that I'd be happy, to introduce, them to you.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yes, that is sometime in July. And that's another opportunities for group networking. Is the annual mentoring high tea, and every year is held at the British Council, and it's high table, and with subject of interest like innovative and technology, smart everything, entrepreneurship, government and quasi-government. These are the areas of interest. So it would be nice that if this is also your interest, and we would be happy to introduce.
That would be perfect. I would like to share a little bit more. Just came across this point. I've been joining the Imperial College mentorship program for 3 years. I met so many wonderful students, just like you all here. So last year I met one student who is now studying a first year degree in physics in Imperial. And then we were like exchanging emails, sending WhatsApp message. I didn't check his CV, I just know this must be a motivated student. And then later on he told me that he wants to do a research research position in university. And I advised him, okay, maybe you can do it in Imperial with this professor and we'll have him. And then later on he realized, why don't I come back to Hong Kong? Why don't I apply to CityU for research program? At the moment he's applying to CityU with 3 professors here in physics. And then I told him, hey, the first thing you guys, when you want to talk to me for referral, you need to send me your CV. Always prepare your nice CV, right? And then when I check his CV, oh gosh, wow, this is amazing. He got IB 45 marks. I think you know what's the meaning of it, okay? He's a full score, okay? So he's a very brilliant, nice student, and then he wants to come back to Hong Kong. So the opportunities are everywhere. You just need to pay attention. We have a lot of good opportunities.
And I also want to emphasize one thing. Academic results is important, but presentation skill as important. If you want to capture people's attention, like Dr. Ray or me or anyone, you lose if you go on and on. You capture a crowd of attention if you can get what you want to get to within, I would say, the first 30 seconds, and you have an opportunity. So practice on that, science and art students.
That's right. I'm sure all the students, you all have a bunch of good questions for Dr. Chen tonight, but I still want to ask one last question. I think this is important and relevant to all of you. Dr. Chen, you have been such a wonderful and busy person and so busy all the time. Why don't you like contributing so much time on young generation, at least your experience with Eunice and Teresa? Why you're doing this, and what is your experience with our CityU students? That's my ending question.
Very selfish reason. Because I want to learn from my next generation. Because one cannot stop learning. And then as I'm discussing things, sharing my experience with you, you are also teaching me at the same time. And I am learning every day and have not stopped. I think this is key. Another thing, Teresa, Eunice, and I'm sure many of you, which I yet need to communicate with, are as talented and as progressing and as eager to learn. The key thing is you need to express yourself, clearly, so that, we for us, we know how to guide you. And I think City University is in such a marvelous, complex, at the center of town. You have all the, advantages, of that. And I also know that the high table dinner is forthcoming.
Yes, we are delighted to have Dr. Chen to join. Buy a ticket. Make sure you go there. Okay. With that, I would like to close the night, and thank you, Dr. Chen, for such a wonderful sharing tonight. And thank you all for your questions. We will now invite Wilson, our SO Director, together to present the appreciation of token to Dr. Chen, please. Yes, wow, this is such a lovely...
it's my pleasure.
A little bit
Oh,
yes.
I'm
yes.
sorry.
Please, Dr. Chen. Yes. 1, 2, 3.